It will be no exaggeration to term current affairs as the backbone of CSS exam, because if this subject is strong, then half of the work is done. Current affairs plays a pivotal and overlapping role in most of the compulsory and optional subjects. Here, through this write-up, I will try to guide you through the art of tackling the current affairs papers. Current affairs as a subject is quite an easy one. We all know what is happening all around us. You simply need to be tactical in your approach, and justification of your stance is highly crucial. Most aspirants consider the essay and current affairs paper subjects as the most difficult obstacles to defeat. It is so because candidates have to build the edifice of their preparation. In short, it is the backbone of CSS exam. It is the key. Apparently, current affairs is only a single compulsory paper, yet its use in essays, Pakistan affairs and Islamic studies, as well as in the optional ones like geography, international relations, international law and political science, etc. That's the reason why a huge chunk of candidates opts for these subjects. If we discuss syllabus analysis of current affair paper, the syllabus has been divided into three major areas: domestic affairs, external affairs and global issues. All of the domestic affairs of Pakistan, such as political, economic, along with social issues, comprises the first part. Relations with the neighbors, Muslim world, USA and regional as well as international organizations are the features of external affairs of Pakistan. Global issues constitute all the current issues like Russia-Ukraine war and energy crisis of the globe, as well as decades-old global issues like Kashmir issues and Palestine issues. At least two questions appear from all the three areas, but external affair and global issues are majorly focused. Analytical mind plays decisive role in one's success. Federal Public Service Commission has to change her course from encouraging rote learning to appreciate analytical mind. If you do not have analytical skill, it would be very difficult to attempt paper with reason and logic. If your paper has no show of mind, you cannot expect any bright success. Anyhow, to develop analytical skill is not too difficult. You just need to read what one say and put argument accordingly. First, you would face difficulty to pen argument, but you can learn from editorials or opinions of newspaper where writer always support her option only on basis of logic. You can easily judge the different writers support their points on different ground, and they often vary from each other. If endorse one policy, other endorse any other policy. You can judge that on what points one endorses a specific policy and on what points one opposes that policy. Another way is to develop these skills is to discuss contemporary affairs with your friends and family members. Try to get opinions of different people who belong to different regions. Argue with them on specific points. Through this way, you can easily gather different viewpoints of specific issues. Remember, learn how to acknowledge true reasons. Do not dare stick to your point if one provides enough logic to support her point instead of your insistence on your viewpoint, which is averse of logic. So one must stay relevant, precise and logical with one's answer. Try to theorize your answer, hence an understanding of the history and political is pertinent. Examiner requires analysis, so ensure that you are able to justify your stance. While attempting the paper, most candidates do not understand the questions before answering them. There is a wide gulf between what they write and what has been actually asked. For example, the question is, resolution of Kashmir issue between India and Pakistan can bring peace and prosperity in the region. Discuss. Most candidates would go on writing all they know about Kashmir while remaining completely oblivious to what has been actually asked. Here, what is required is to discuss only one aspect of the many branches of the Kashmir dispute. So, do read the question again and again to grasp what examiner wants to see in your answer, and then write your points accordingly. Question is, discuss the causes of extremism and militancy in Pakistani society. Suggest ways and means for the state organs to overcome these issues. The answer of this question may be outlined as: first, give introduction. Secondly, cause of extremism and militancy in Pakistan, like motivation by religious ideologies and grievances, injustice to the society. Terrorists will use poverty, social strife, inequality and oppression to their advantages. Involvement of foreign hands. Several interpretations of Islam. Illiteracy, low employment rate. Third point is the ways to overcome these issues, just like invigorate law enforcement agencies, more vigilance along borders, depriving criminals of their profits, providing necessary technologies, harmonizing laws and sharing information, seek negotiated political settlement, reorganize national priorities with education as main concern, prevent others from following the same path and thus succeed in eliminating the terrorism menace. At the end we have a conclusion. This is the proper way to outline your answer according to your question. Question about internal affairs may be as how to critically analyze external affairs from different perspectives. For answer this question, one aspirant must have to study relations through maps. Practice making the following 3 maps so as to memorize them. That 3 maps are World Map, South Asian Map and Pakistan Map. Clear picture of maps in your head. It would be easier to deal with current affairs related questions. Influence of other countries or organizations. We all know that all the countries have some influence and interest in every neighbor country due to interdependency. In relation-based questions such as Pakistan-Afghanistan relations, Afghanistan has an Indian, Chinese, Iranian and Russian influence which directly affect the dynamics of Pak-Afghan relations. Critical analysis of these relations can be discussed in the question. You write an outline of study relations with organization through this technique. In case of European Union, one aspirant must have outline like first give introduction, then formation, or answering with WH questions, objective and organizational structure. One must have to need the recent developments. When was the last conference held and when will the next be held? Effectiveness of European Union, challenges faced by European Union, role of Pakistan, critical analysis required just like GSP plus status, and at the end of the question, conclusion is necessary. Analysis from different perspectives. Bilateral relations include strategic, political, economic, cultural and social level interactions. All the more reasons studying relations has become quite difficult as two countries interact with each other on different fronts. For instance, Pak-China relations are usually studied on strategic and an economic front, whereas Pakistan and United States relations has been studied from political and economic perspective. Examiner always ask about a particular aspect of bilateral relations according to the recent developments. There was a huge uproar. For example, if we compare the general questions to the specific questions, there would be a different techniques to tackle both type of questions. First, we discuss the general techniques, just like Pakistan-India relations. On the basis of general technique, first we have to make an introduction, historical background, wars and dialogues, processes, irritants, just like Kashmir issues, water disputes, Indian presence in Afghanistan, Indian involvement in Pakistan, presence of raw, events such as Mumbai carnage and the blame game. The fourth one is the current developments. Role of both Indian and Pakistan government, role of media, citizens, multi-track diplomacy. How can the tussle be solved, especially Kashmir issue? Role of Afghanistan as a buffer state and power sharing percentage. Conclusion will be at the end. There would be a different technique to solve the specific questions. Like the question is, discuss the possibilities of progress under the recently agreed rubric of comprehensive dialogue between Pak and India. In your opinion, what are the major constraints at present? One must have to give introduction, then historical context, that linking every event with the prospect of a dialogue. Then make a brief analysis of dialogues. How many dialogues occurred and how many were effective, if any? Recent dimensions in terms of hurdles to peace, just like, according to the question, systematic violation of line of control since 2013. You may make a South Asia map here. India blotting the image of Pakistan or a blame game. Conservative regime in India. Growing ties of United States and India in context of nuclear supply group membership. Conflicting foreign policy objectives, just like Indian approach towards Pakistan, regional policy and neighborhood policy. Pakistan's understanding of such policies. Then discuss the hurdles in peace. Just like logical clash of historical narratives, Pakistan's India fear, legacy of partition, South Asia being a breeding ground of extremism, accusations, and then one can discuss the possibility of peace. Just like curriculum reformation, removing opposing elements, or reconstruction of national narratives. Trade plays an effective role, and multi-track diplomacy, effective utilization of SARC's platforms. And at the end, one need to conclude his answer. For domestic and global issues, always keep a check on the events of later half of the previous year and the start of the year in which exams are to be commenced. You have to be conceptual and analytical in your answer and not factual. Now you have got the basic structure ready. Make a separate register for current affairs. Daily pick up a national and international newspapers, magazines, and look out for any update on your relevant topic, and you just need to add that under recent developments section. Preferably start preparation of current affairs from October till the exam date. Reading newspapers help you to improve English vocabulary, since most of the vocabulary words since most of the vocabulary words for written expressions are high frequency words except the pressive paper. For newspaper reading, if it's dawn, go through the front page, back page, editorial, and what nobody will emphasize enough is these two international pages, especially the left one, which contains opinion and views by international newspapers writers, plus the business page for just staying in touch with the state of global economy. Monday's supplement on economy is a must. 2 or 3 questions in each of the current affairs, Pakistan affairs, and geography, or even a topic in essay can be prepared by thorough reading of this supplement, noting down important states, etc., on important issues. On average, 3 to 4 articles in each supplement are worth cutting away and preserving from examination point of view. Aspirants, do not waste your whole day on newspapers. Maximum 1 to 2 hours is sufficient if you are a good reader. If you want to improve your composition, rewrite one editorial daily and get it checked. Select 5 new words daily and use those words into sentences. Make short notes from newspaper and add facts and figures to update. Now we are going to discuss the resources for current affairs paper. Newspapers like Dawn and Express Press Tribune are the best for current affairs. Weekly Economist, The Economist magazine online, and Current Affairs Digest by Safdar Mahmood, Foreign Policy magazine. You should also check online websites for current affairs like newsweekpakistan.com, economist.com, foreignpolicy.com, and spiegel.de international. As I mentioned earlier, the analytical ability should be developed. Aspirants should not be a rote learner. You should be able to analyze the statement and describe it in your own words. Only the availability of knowledge is useless. You should be able to arrange the knowledge in the required format. Keenly observe the method used by the writers in newspaper articles. They provide logic for every statement they make. You should have clear point against and in favor of different issues. The discussion with the friends can be helpful too. This will make you aware of their points of view. Every point should have logic behind it. An aspirant must have awareness of problem-solving techniques while sitting in exam. Choose the questions carefully. Go for the topics about which you have extensive knowledge. Make coherent outlines and follow that pattern strictly while answering the question. An outline serves as a snapshot of what lies ahead for the examiner. It facilitates students as well as for properly organizing their scheme of answer. Proper introduction, proper analysis, pointer to support the premises and conclusion are some essential constituents of a good answer. Employ a good number of headings and present your paper well. Be extremely relevant, targeted, and focused. Answer the gist of the question only. Avoid passing sweeping statements. Rather back your arguments with relevant statistics, figures, maps, diagrams, and flowcharts. Examples, case studies, quotations, and views of significant authors and experts of the concerned subject. Statistics need to be current and correct. Do not think examiner will not find out if you are misquoting figure. Give a proper conclusion. Skim through your answer after completion in order to avoid any mistakes. Time yourself throughout and complete all your answer well in time. Do not assign more than 35 to 37 minutes per question.